Thank you, Sibyl. And indeed, it's nice to be at this Istanbul Economic Summit today, and nice to be in Turkey. I've been away for, 6-7 years. It's great to be back in Istanbul. It's always my fate, my surname begins with B, which means I'm always the last speaker, wherever I am, or I'm the first, because I'm a very small person. So if we are put in the queue, then I'm the first. If it goes by surname, I'm the last. But anyway, so it's nice to take the floor after my Nordic colleagues. Your question, Sibyl, I was thinking about the Finnish government made a commitment to a very ambitious carbon neutrality target. Finland to become carbon neutral by 2035. So we are 10 years, 13 years away from the target. And how do we reach that? We reach that on a very broad-based collaboration, meaning that you have to include the whole society, be it business, be it politicians, policymakers, researchers, civic society. Only by joining the forces, understanding the issue, is to make it, we can make it happen together. Of course, we have also adopted various national low carbon roadmaps, be it circular economy, be it bioeconomy, or be it hydrogen. But what I think is quite exciting, what we have done, and it comes here, and that also goes a bit back to what was mentioned by Finn, how the business sometimes, or very often, is on a driving seat, where we talk about how to mitigate the climate change and how to answer the questions of sustainability. And a couple of years ago, 14 Finnish industrial sectors put together roadmaps how to reach carbon neutrality by 2035. So each sector thinking what they have to do, what kind of innovations they have to put in place, how they have to change their processes, and what they expect from the government to make that happen. So that, in my view, was, and then these ideas were fed into the government and into the government programs, and that, in my view, was very much a public-private cooperation in its best way. So the industrial sectors, for instance, energy, chemical, forestry, technology, agriculture, you name it, 14 sectors all together. And if you take technology sector, for instance, their annual emissions are now 4 million tons. But when they put measures in place, these 4 million tons will diminish considerably, and one day will also come not only carbon neutral, but hopefully also carbon negative. And what does this mean in practice? It means improved material efficiency, it means electrification of the processes, it means alternative materials, it means using side streams. I take one example, which is a steel factory, SSAB, operating both in Sweden and in Finland, and they are aiming to become carbon neutral in 2030s in their production. And how will they do it? They will do it by having hydrogen production-based steel manufacturing. And when that system is in place, that will mean 7% drop on overall emissions in whole Finland by one factory only. And that, of course, it means a lot of investment. It means a lot of innovation and research in the background. Another important thing that we have here is investing in research, innovation, and development. Recently, we had a sort of an interparliamentary group, including all parliamentary parties, the government parties and the ones in the opposition, also civic society, researchers, you name it, and they put together an innovation financing plan, and the target is to use 4% of the Finnish GDP for research and development innovation by 2025, in the next 3 years. Ambitious target, once again, can only be achieved by good collaboration between public and private. So government makes a certain commitment, and business will make a matching commitment from their side. Because the interest is joint, so the measures we have to take together. Did you also ask about the collaboration possibilities? Okay. So there are many promising collaboration sectors between industries in Turkey and in Finland. But one in particular that I like most is textile sector. And I also like it because when I was ambassador here, it was something that was nascent. You know, Turkey having a very active textile industry. At the same time, there was a growing consciousness that we are using materials that use a lot of energy, water. We have to think of something instead of those. What would we do? Then there was the research done in VTT, which is a Finnish state technological research agency, research on how to use, for instance, cellulose-based materials for textiles. How to recycle textiles to make new textiles, how to use straw, how to use agricultural waste for new textiles. So this work has been now going on for the last 10 or so years, and now there are solutions. I think some of you might have seen an advertisement out in town about H&M, not advertising H&M, but you know, they happen to use infinite fiber textiles in their products. So this is something where we have collaborated, where we will collaborate also in the future. So infinity fiber and also ion cell. And I really feel quite excited about this because textile, you know, nice clothes are fun, textile industry is important, but we also have to make that happen in a sustainable way. Thank you.
Thank you. We see this great example of public and private collaboration in Finland, which is certainly a good example for other countries to follow. The second round, we want to talk more about gender issues and women's empowerment. In this context, I want to acknowledge this great partnership with the Nordic consulates in Istanbul during the preparation phase, especially Thierry and his colleagues. We already started the dialogue on gender collaboration with the World Bank, and I think this panel will also add great value on this discussion. And the consulates in Istanbul did a great job on coordination and collaboration, and I would like to thank them here. On gender, I want to start with Finland. So this is an issue close to our heart, and this is women empowerment issue is the core of economic policy issues and social development issues. And we look at Nordic countries as great pioneers and champions of women empowerment work. So we would like to hear from you. As the most equal societies in the world compared to others, there's the Nordic joint statement on a green and gender equal Nordic region. Could you tell us a bit more about this?
Thank you for the question. Reaching gender equality has been on the Nordic agenda for the last 45, 50 years, showing that we are not yet there. There's still a lot of work to be done in our countries as well. And we have also noticed that there is an interconnection between climate action and gender equality. And research has shown that climate policies have been lacking sufficient gender equality insights. And based on this research and these facts, the Nordic Council of Ministers made a commitment to make sure that gender perspective is taken into account in climate policies in all five countries, in particular for the next period of next 2 or 3 years. And how to do it? Is to do it by promoting cooperation, by advocacy work, by sharing information, and developing policies together. And this Nordic commitment is part of our commitment, on generation equality, which is a program run by the UN Women, where Finland is an active participant. And by the way, there's also a company from Turkey, Koç Holding, who is sort of a co-chairing with us a working group, or let's say working coalition under this generation equality work. But going back to the Nordics and what can be done, you know, with advocacy and developing policies. For instance, by developing policies or by advocacy, we should make girls once again to study more science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And why is that? Because the people who study these topics tend to work in sectors that dominate green transition, you know, be it construction, be it transport, be it agriculture. And if you only have majority of boys and men working in these sectors, decisions they make tend to sort of lose the gender equality aspect. So it's a bit of, I hope you catch my story. It's, in a way, it's a pretty simple story. And once again, you know, make sure that there's an equal participation in decision making, you know, and in all sectors, and you know, make more advocacy, you know, for girls to learn these sectors. It's a bit like sort of study these sectors. It's a bit like sort of when we talk about digitalization and IT skills. Majority of the programmers are still boys. And that means that many of the programs that we have are sort of unwillingly somehow a bit sort of male-based. So that means sort of you know, increasing awareness in general and pushing certain issues in practice. And this is what we try to do together with our the Nordic colleagues, be it, you know, in public life or be it in the enterprises.
Thank you. And we would like to ask Sweden next. We are looking at Sweden and we are seeing how can we replicate their best case studies on women empowerment.
Thank you. No, first of all, please use the opportunity while we are here to ask questions. We cannot have been so perfect, all of us. But anyway, thank you for nice kind of promotion for Hungary, Finland, Denmark. Let us keep it. Let us keep on doing that, because I also believe in collaboration between countries. We are all working for the same cause. Of course, the business might compete a bit among themselves, but this is only healthy, and the way. As long as we reach the goals. As far as export financing is concerned, I mean, in Finland we have Finnvera, which is a state export credit agency and a state guarantee agency. So it can sort of give, for instance, BIOS guarantees and export guarantees. It's not investments, but it will help somebody to get along the way. And then there are, you know, private Finnish venture capital funds, etc. So if something is exciting enough and promising enough, they might be interested in. Thank you.